Also, I'm such a good jumper now.
You're live. Whoa, hey, we're live.
I could probably win the dunk contest.
You should. You
The
should
Viking dunk contest
The Viking dunk.
that the Vikings have.
Ooh, that's gonna be loud.
That's how they choose their leaders.
Yeah.
Shit.
Who's that Butterfingers running the stream over here?
It's me. I'm Joe Drilling, and I'm playing Alien vs. Predator on Jotego's CPS2 beta core for the
I guess I
MiSTer.
could probably bring this up now. You know what's really good?
What?
Playing Valheim and listening to Amon Amarth.
Uh,
Even though I'm not doing stuff, like, most of the stuff I'm doing is not as cool as the stuff in those songs, but still.
But it feels thematically appropriate, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I really wanted to play that new Assassin's Creed and listen to Amon Amarth, but I think I'm enjoying this more than I would have enjoyed that, so. Anyway, what's this? What is this? On the Stick After Dark or
This
something?
is On the Stick After Dark.
Why can't we have some light on the stick?
We've just never been good at that.
because it's after dark.
What's the
After
stick
dark.
got to hide?
After daylight savings happens, then there'll be different things.
That's right. That's right.
So, Joey, what you got here? You got some alien. I'm seeing some aliens. I'm seeing some predators.
That's right. This
Here's
is
some clacking.
You're gonna hear some clacking because I got an arcade stick.
Is it your same arcade stick that you normally have, or did you get a new arcade stick?
Nope, same one.
Okay.
I mean, this one cost me enough that I don't really feel like I want to. Or
I wasn't
need
sure
to.
if you got like one of those ones for the Astro City Mini or something.
I thought about it, but then I was like, I have this one that I already put a bunch of custom parts into, and I have it just the way I like it, and I have the buttons colored like a Neo Geo and everything. So, and the stick too. Actually, the stick is red, it's like an American Neo Geo.
So you can play all your favorite Neo Geo games, like Alien vs. Predator.
That's right. I mean, I also have a Neo Geo core on this MiSTer, so I can, in fact, play all of my favorite Neo Geo games on it as well. But yeah, so yeah, Jotego finally, after talking about it for quite some time and sort of teasing us with like a few random Konami arcade games, finally has started dropping beta cores for CPS2 for MiSTer. I didn't choose to stream Puzzle Fighter because I don't care enough about Puzzle Fighter to have felt like that was worth doing, but I do care about Alien vs. Predator. So right now there's again still in beta. If you're a Patreon supporter of Jotego at the is it $5, Mike? $5 a month?
No, man, I'm Canadian. My dollars aren't the same as yours.
It's true.
Also, I thought it was $3 American.
Oh, it might be $3. Yeah, three
And I
sounds
paid
right,
for like a
actually.
full year, so I have no idea. So.
Yeah, that's right. He added he set it to annual, so you can get like a little bit of a discount by paying.
Less
for
than
a full
$3
year.
American, more than $3 Canadian is what I paid.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm pretty excited about CPS2. Like, there's a boatload of games on CPS2 that I want to play, and I am interested in this one. Joe knows that I've had trouble getting this one working on my MiSTer for probably not very complicated reasons, but I just haven't sunk enough time into figure out what's wrong.
I'm going to guess the reason is you don't have the game ROM. That's my guess
Yeah,
on why it's
that's
not working
very
for
possible. But like, this is one that I'd like to try. But the games that I'm really excited about are going to be more, basically the fighting games and the 1940 whatevers. I think are the games that I'm the most excited to try. And I guess Mars Matrix, which I can finally go play.
That's right. Go play Mars Matrix. Yeah, there are a lot of CPS2. I mean,
Like
it depends
45
on
games or something on CPS2.
It depends on how you view the Neo Geo with regard to it as an arcade board or a home system, or if it's something else entirely. But the CPS2 definitely is in the conversation of like best arcade board of all time. There are so many good games.
It has the best Street Fighter game, so that's all I need.
I mean, a lot of people would say that that's true. I think, well, Street Fighter, yes, I would agree with that. It has the best Street Fighter game. I don't know that it has my favorite Capcom fighting game.
What's your favorite Capcom fighting game?
Probably Capcom versus SNK 2.
Yeah, that's definitely more advanced, right?
Is, I believe that was a Naomi game, I think. Because there's only a handful of CPS3 games. The CPS3 was not.
It's basically just Street Fighter 3 in that JoJo game, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's like 3 versions of Street Fighter 3 and then 2 versions of JoJo.
Yeah, I think that's about all you get on the CPS3.
They all look incredible, but I also don't have any. I'm starting to wonder if the MiSTer will be able to handle those games, but
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, I think we're seeing some Saturn stuff and some PS1 stuff, and in terms of just like very, very early attempts at making those cores. I'm sort of the feeling, and I don't know. I mean, we'll see how things turn out, but I think with MiSTer in its current state, I think we might get Saturn games that only use the VDP1, but if it requires the use of both of the VDP chips in the Saturn, maybe not, you know?
that's still more than I was hoping for, so I'll take it.
So, I don't know, we'll see. And PlayStation has been taking a really long time.
Wow, I think it's a really big project, and there have been a lot of updates this year about the PlayStation Core.
Yeah, it runs Ridge Racer like almost at a normal looking frame rate now. Seems like.
I think it's just like what I saw was the processor was at 25 megahertz instead of 34, so like depending on the game, it may or may not run at full speed, depending on what's being asked of the system.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I've seen a lot of progress on the PlayStation Core, and the fact that anyone's even attempting Saturn is pretty awesome. Like, especially because it's not just anybody. What's the name of the guy? He's like a super, super top-level FPGA developer.
Yeah, it's
right?
not Kevtris, but it's someone, I feel like, who's kind of in that...
Is it SRG? Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right.
Didn't he do the Mega CD Core?
Yes-ish?
Anyway, he's made like more than one really good core, so he knows what he's talking about, and if he thinks it's worth getting into, then I mean, at least he must at least hope that he's going to get some games running, right?
Yeah. Mark Von Borstel says, I'm excited to see you playing CPS2. I've started to research to try and figure out how to do a multi-kit CPS2 arcade cabinet that can play all those games on original hardware. I want to find a Capcom Big Blue cab to do that with. Yeah, those cabs are cool with the Q-Sound speakers and everything. I mean, if you're handy with a soldering iron, that the Darksoft kit is available. It's not cheap, but it's available. Gun at max cooling.
10, Mike.
Fire away.
What?
I found 10.
You found 10? What?
Yeah.
You can't just go finding 10?
Are you now going to
forest?
commence
10 or
pushing
all
10?
over here. I also found a million dwarfs and then got stuck in a corner and I'm almost dead. But this position is way better than.
I mean, all I really knew before is that we were close to the forest and we needed to go to the forest, so it seemed fine to me, but...
Yeah, there's just more like resources closer by.
Well, I'm sorry that I cannot join you tonight for Valheim, Eric, but I'm having a bit of a misadventure on my own with my MiSTer. And that misadventure is the end of Invictus, which I've made it to the last level in this game, but because it doesn't use like the Super Mario World checkpoints, like you go through a pipe and it saves your game, but as you may recall from the last level that I played, for some reason those don't save when you're stopped playing. And because there are no save states on the MiSTer Super Nintendo Core, I cannot save my progress, so I have to replay the level every time I pick it up again. So I've decided that for tonight I'm going to try and make some progress so that at least next time I can pick it up and get here faster.
Cool.
Well, it would be more cool if I didn't have to. I'd really love to see save states for the Super Nintendo and NES cores on the MiSTer. Like, it can be done.
Yeah,
but
Sorg is
it's
like...
a lot of work.
Well, also isn't Sorg, like, morally opposed to it or some shit?
Yeah, but there's 2 cores already that have save states, so, I mean, I don't think he's stopping people from doing it.
But yeah, if they want to fork it, yeah.
He might be... Well, no, but, like, in the main MiSTer, like, you load up your GBA core right now, and you can have a save state.
Really?
And I believe the Game Boy one has also got them, or will very soon. So, like, I don't think that there's any actual... I don't think he's blocking people from making them. I think this is really hard to make save states for the MiSTer. Like, I don't think... It's not one of those, like, one-size-fits-all where, like, yeah, you did it for one core, you can just apply it to the rest. It's like, no, it's got to be on a per-core basis, and I think it's a ton of work. So.
Yeah.
But, yeah, save states for NES and Super NES would be my biggest wish aside from more cores.
Oh, boy.
But I'm going to have to take a break from this game eventually, and I like to bike, so...
Well, hopefully by the time you get back into it, there'll probably be a lot more, maybe that.
What, Valheim? I'm gonna get back into it like this weekend. I'm hoping.
Well, I think I'm gonna play a bunch of it the next couple of nights here. Although I did just buy a new weird graphic adventure. Oh shit!
What new weird graphic adventure?
It's called Notia.
Oh, I heard about that on the Switch.
Yeah. Yes.
I think
it's like someone took the game of Werewolf and made it into a single-player, like, visual novel kind of thing.
Sounds pretty wild. Honestly.
Yeah, I'd like to try it. I just wish it was on something other than the Switch. Like, I want to play it on my phone. I don't get why people don't put graphic novels on phones more.
I mean, if there's more to it, it's like, I'm
I can't hear you,
Yeah,
Eric.
you're clipping really
You're breaking up.
What?
You were breaking up. You stopped.
Ah! Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just saying that regular-ass visual novels don't appeal to me that much, but...
They don't have to be regular ass, but, like, you can get most visual novels.
No. I mean, like, if it's just, like, it's a visual novel, I'm like, eh. But if it's, like, Danganronpa or something, then I want to check it out. You know?
In what world could Danganronpa not work on your telephone?
I don't know. Because I don't want to spend 50 hours staring at a little tiny screen, that's why.
Well, the original Danganronpa was the PSP, or PS Vita, wasn't it?
And I played it on PC.
Okay, well, you are the exception. I mean, like, all the Zero Escape games and things, I've played on various mobile devices.
Yeah.
In fact, every Zero Escape game I played on a different mobile device, including my phone. Which, I will be honest, is not the best way to play 999, but that's just because they took all the puzzles out. You're hard to hear, bud.
Nothing I can do about it. Unless it's just something weird with my internet. Am I quiet, or am I...
You were, like, chopping in and out.
You were getting choppy.
Something is downloading in the background or something.
Anyway, visual novels on my phone, which has a nice screen, and I have it with me all the time, and I can play them on the bus or in bed. Perfect.
I mean, also, I don't ever, like, ride a bus or anything, so...
Well, I don't much either anymore, but...
Yeah. But, I mean,
but like...
that's literally not an option for me, so...
The last two Phoenix Wright games, I think, were best played on a phone. Because the iPhone ports of those games look way better than the 3DS versions do.
I feel like the one before the last one was best, like, not really played at all. Like, I stalled out super hard on the, like, weird transphobic case. And, like,
well, that sucked. I liked the game, but that part sucked. But I don't know. I thought the rest of the game was good, but...
And I didn't play the one after that.
But Psy, Japan...
Yeah. But I played them all up until then, and it wasn't even just that, like, that was kind of gross, it was also just that, like, I just didn't feel like the whole thing about, like, oh, we live in the dark age of the law now, and it's like, that was dumb even by Phoenix Wright standards, and I was just kind of not, like, super into it.
Spoken like a man who never played Professor Layton.
I mean, I played Phoenix... I also stalled out on Phoenix Wright meets Professor Layton and never finished that, so... but also, those games are dumb, too, you know.
I enjoyed that.
I had some fun with it.
I think you would enjoy Phoenix Wright 6 more. I think it has a better story.
The thing where you have to, like... It's like you're interrogating or you're, like, cross-examining, like, 4 people at once is just, like...
I don't even remember, honestly.
Yeah, it's like you have, like, a whole panel of witnesses happening all at the same time in the courtroom sequences in that one, and it's weird. I didn't like that.
I think my main point, Joe, is that if you were going to enjoy that game, you would enjoy it just as well on your phone as on, say, a 3DS.
But how will I see all
maybe
the
maybe
neat 3D
you need them
effects?
to make a different game at this point, but the medium is not the problem.
No, I don't suspect that the medium is the problem. I also feel like I kind of burned out on Phoenix Wright. Like, I really like, you know, several of those games. The first one and the third one especially, I enjoyed a whole lot. And the fourth one I actually enjoyed quite a bit.
Yeah, Apollo Justice is better than people give it credit for.
It's better than Phoenix Wright 2, that's for sure.
Phoenix Wright 2 is a good game with, what, one spectacularly bad case?
It's so spectacularly bad, though, it brings the rest of the thing down, because it drags so badly.
It doesn't really have the momentum that 1 and 3. Like, 1 and 3 both have pretty good stories they want to tell, and 2 is just there.
Also, like, I mean, there's some people who don't like the bonus case in 1, but
I fucking hate the bonus case.
See, I liked the bonus case in 1, and then I felt in 2, like, then that wasn't there in 2, and it was just, you know, a port of a GBA game, basically, and I was kind of like, well, this kind of sucks. Like,
this is like Skyrim, Kurt, and that it increases your skills based on how often
I've seen that.
Yeah, I kind of jump everywhere.
That's one freaky looking alien queen you got there, Joe.
I mean, it looks like a Capcom pixel art interpretation of the alien queen.
Is it always that skinny?
There is
kind of
much
actually,
stuff in the various chests for crafting and whatnot. Not like a ton of stuff, but also if you claim one of these beds, it'll become your spawn point.
Oops.
So, my favorite thing about this game is that apparently, like, near as I can tell, Capcom couldn't get the rights from Dark Horse to put the woman in the Alien vs. Predator, like, comics into this game. So they just made, like, a different, like, Asian lady.
Is that where Kurosawa comes from? Is that there was a character kind of like her in the comics?
Yes, there's an Asian woman who gets sort of adopted by a Predator clan in the original comic arc, and so yeah, I think they just were like, well, Dark Horse won't let us use her, so we'll just create Lieutenant Kurosawa, and she'll do that. It'll be fine.
Is this the only game she's ever been in?
I know she's at least in Capcom or SNK versus Capcom Card Fighters on the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
Oh, of course.
And she's probably in, like, fucking Teppen and whatever other random shit, like, is out. I mean, she's probably in Project X Zone and all those weird crossovers that I've mostly heard are bad and are not.
A roster with hundreds of characters.
Right. So, I mean, that would be my guess, is that she's in those. But she's definitely in Card Fighters Clash, because she was in my deck in that game. So,
is the blonde robot guy supposed to be Arnold?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. Does he have a robot arm at any point in Predator?
No.
He's only in the first Predator movie, right?
He's only in the first Predator movie, yes. Major Alan Dutch Schaefer. Yeah, I don't know why. And also, like, his voice in this game I mean, it's probably, I guess, for the best that they're not actually trying to do an Arnold impression, but they don't, there's not even a tiny bit of effort put into.
One thing that I enjoy explaining to my friends and coworkers who are French Canadian, a lot of the time they grew up watching the French dubs of movies, which in fact in many cases were even like the French dubs from France, because especially like in the 80s they didn't always bother making a more Quebec version of the movie.
Right.
And so like they didn't know, some of them, that Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice is a genre. Right? That he single-handedly like became shorthand for tough guy action star because, associated with his accent.
Yeah, I mean, him and Stallone both kind of have that level of...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Arnold is a bit more recognizable, but yeah.
I mean, if you go up to anybody and you're like, hey, Adrian, like, they're immediately gonna know what you're...
They're gonna think Rocky. But they're not going to think that you're like some kind of Marine commander dude who's going to blow up 50 bases. Sorry, my brain cells are engaged elsewhere.
I mean, I guess, but yeah, yeah. So they didn't like have a consistent actor who was always the dub voice for Arnold.
I think they did, maybe, or at least through stretches. Like very often, they would be the same actor who would do his roles, but he wasn't Austrian, and he didn't have some sort of weird fake Austrian accent. Because like, why would you do that if you're translating them, to a different character, to a different language?
Right. Well, in some of his early movies, maybe it's just the one. They dub him over with somebody else in English.
Isn't that just Hercules in New York, or is there more than one?
I'm trying to remember if there's another one where they did that.
Be careful going south, Kurt, because that's where the Black Forest is, and there's trolls and stuff out there.
It's delicious. It's got cherries and whipped cream.
Yum.
It'll hit you with a big club, and you'll die in one hit.
You could get diabetes.
I think if you look at your map, it'll tell you kind of where you are. As far as what biome you're in. And I would say you kind of want to stick to the meadow until you can make a bow and some armor and some stuff.
Your hunt ends now with your death. Well, yes.
Also, like I said, there's like those chests by that house that has a bunch of crafting stuff in it. Feel free to take any of it. There's not a ton yet, but I'm gonna go hunt some deer right now. But there's like some leather scraps and flints and stuff.
After you hunt some deer, are you gonna go play Russian roulette?
Uh-huh.
I see what you did there.
And drive a taxi cab.
And then I'm gonna bet on how much money it'll take a guy to fuck an alligator. That's gonna stick with me for
I don't remember that scene.
Look, man, if you want to bet on a guy fucking an alligator, money plane.
Does he do it?
No, you can bet on it if you want to, but
Spoilers.
That's not a part of the movie, but you don't really find out. It's kind of left up in the air.
yeah. Also, Mark Von Borstel in the chat says GameStop apparently has some big Switch sales going on right now for Mario Day. So
does Nintendo, actually. I think you can get like a third off a whole bunch of games on the Switch in
Mario
the
Maker
shop.
2 is like 35% off.
Ooh, that might be. I might grab that actually.
Yeah, I was kind of eyeballing that when I went and bought that Nosha game.
Joe, have you heard the good word of Kaizo?
Yeah, I've heard.
Kaizo's free, Joe. It's here to save your soul.
Yeah, that's... Well, I'm not too worried about that, Mike. I mean, on the other hand, I've been playing, and probably will play before we're done tonight, because I think I'm going to beat this game in less time than the normal stream would go. I've been playing Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, which is like Kaizo, but maybe more of an asshole in some ways, and less of an asshole in other...
Like, way uglier.
I mean, I guess I get why people think it's ugly, but I actually really like the way it looks.
The art style is like okay. It's just the way it animates that looks really bad to me.
I mean, it like people were like, "Oh, it animates like a Flash game," and like I kind of get that, but it does it for a reason. It's not just like, "Oh, it's cheap to animate this way, so we're gonna do that." It's like there's a very
so it looks bad. Is that?
Yeah, I find it really rubbery from what I've seen. I don't know.
See, I think it's more stiff than rubbery. I mean, there's not a lot of...
There's like 2 frames of animation on everything.
It feels like it's meant to sort of do the sort of medieval puppet, like shadow puppet style, like cutout paper puppets. That's the sense that I get, anyways. I haven't seen anything from the devs actually like explaining that, but yeah, I don't know. I like it. I think it, and a lot of the like this.
It as a Ghost game.
Yeah, that's valid. I think it looks a lot better than.
I was asking.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So this is my thing. Like, 'cause there's been some reviews and stuff where it's like I'm gonna give this game a bad rating because it's too hard, and it's like, yeah, it is, but the people who like, it's such a niche series at this point, right? That like anybody who is like, I'm gonna pick up the new Ghosts and Goblins game knows what they're getting into. I think, pretty sure. Could be wrong, I guess, but.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Like, I think it is fair to give it a bad rating if it's just brutally difficult.
Sure. No, I'm not.
The average person wouldn't enjoy it. But you give it a bad rating along with a line that says, "Hey, if you love this kind of game, good news, they made one for you." I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that those people aren't entitled to their opinion. Certainly, although I haven't played it on the lower difficulties, and I get the sense that, well, on the easiest difficulty, it's like the old school. You can only play a few levels, like you can't finish the game.
Oh, I fucking hate that, man. That's the worst.
And I haven't
Except
played...
in Jamestown, where I don't hate it for some reason.
I'm still bitter about Contra 4.
Yeah, Contra 4, man. Pissed me off so bad.
Easy mode is so I can learn the game.
I want to learn the game,
so that way I can play it on the harder difficulties and then be better at it.
Yeah, the one that sticks out the most in my mind as a kid was Golden Axe on the Genesis port of Golden Axe. Would only let you do like 3 stages on easy, and I remember being so pissed off about that. Because when you're a little kid and you're not yet haven't honed your skill set on playing video games, like you play everything on easy because So yeah, this is there's 4 difficulty levels here, and the lowest one, which is Squire or Page or something. I think it's Page, Squire, Knight, Legend.
Diamond Dallas Page?
Yes. Diamond Dallas Page, who now Ethan Page is in AEW, so he's going to team up with Ethan Page, and they're going to form a stable.
Is he related to Diamond Dallas Page?
No, I don't know. I don't.
Wait.
Well, Diamond Dallas Page's name isn't actually Page. His last name is something different.
I was thinking
Ethan Page's name may also not be Page.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Sorry, I was thinking of Elliot Page, and I was like, wow, they're in wrestling now?
No, he is not in wrestling yet. Could be. You never know, though. You never know. But yeah, it's. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm probably gonna play some of it before we're done here tonight. But I don't fault people for saying it's too hard. I didn't like it, therefore I'm giving it not a good score. But I think maybe if I was the editor of a large publication like IGN, I would probably have given that review to someone who likes the series, or is extremely familiar with it, rather than just some dude who's the people who are not familiar with or don't like the Ghosts and Goblins series. This game ain't gonna change your mind. If you don't like Ghosts and Goblins, you're not suddenly gonna be like, oh, I get it now. It's very clear that it was. They fucking pulled Takuro Fujiwara out of retirement to make it. So,
he's the best. He's coming back for one last job.
That's right. He's the best ex-Ghosts and Goblins designer, and they needed him for one more job. He hadn't made a game since Mad World, I believe, was the last
black and white Wii game?
Yes. That was the last thing Takuro Fujiwara was a very active participant. I haven't heard in
a long time.
Yeah. That game also rules, by the way. I played it a couple years ago to capture some footage for a video, and I was like, this game is still super fun. Anarchy Reigns was kind of a disappointing follow-up, but Mad World is still a blast.
Yeah, it was okay. I rent. That was one of the. What was a rental? It was okay.
Yeah.
Mark von Borstel wants to know if we've ever played the Dungeons and Dragons CPS2 games, and let me tell you, sir, we have.
Oh hell yeah! I have played a ton of those.
Those were an Extra Life staple for many
Yeah.
the Extra Lives that we
Well, because
did.
they were like one of the few like classic games of that style that had decent online that didn't like totally suck, you know. Because they used GGPO, the Iron Galaxy ports or whatever, used GGPO for the online. So yeah, those I like them both. I think the first one is my favorite though, because the second one is like it's a little too complicated.
Yeah, they are a little fiddly.
And to get the best ending in the second one, there's a bunch of like shit that you really have no way of knowing you have to do unless you read a guide that tells you like to get the like magic special sword to like actually get the true ending and like slay the dragon or whatever, like you have to do this, this, and this, and go to these places and take these specific paths and find this hidden room on this specific path, and if you miss it, like oops, you're fucked. So that one, like, I like that they added a couple more classes and stuff. I actually really like the rogue. She's a ton of fun to play as, but it's like Mike said, it's a little fiddly. But Tower of Doom, like, has just enough, yeah. It has just enough branching and just enough like mechanics and shopping, which I know Mike loves.
I'm a big fan of. Oh, I thought you said chopping. I was like, yes, I like to chop.
no, shopping.
I'm playing a beat 'em up. I like to chop also.
Well, yeah. There's also a lot of that in that game, to be fair. But
Mike's favorite wrestling faction is DX. He loves the Lloyd Kaufman classic chopping mall. He just anything with chopping in it, he's way into it.
that wasn't a Lloyd Kaufman joint, was it?
Was it not?
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
I didn't mean to pick Dutch, but that's fine.
Speaking of arcade beat-em-ups, did you ever wind up spending any more time with that Revenge of Death Adder on your?
I mean,
Mini?
I finished it. Yeah, I finished it on the Astro City Mini. It's good. I like that game a lot. Still one of my favorite beat-em-ups of that era, and I'm really happy that I have like a good version of it at home now. Bullshit, Mad Predator. Bullshit.
Is he mad like angry, or is he mad like unhinged?
I think he's mad like unhinged. I think. I mean, maybe both, actually. Oh, now he just stabbed himself.
That sounds pretty unhinged to me.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection it's a Ghosts and Goblins game. So if I don't know how all three of you feel about them, I feel like you're not super warm to them. Like if you don't like those games,
Nope. I don't like having stuff randomly pop out of the ground and kill me all the time. So
this game has a lot of that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've never been very interested in them. Outside of the first couple months when the Super Nintendo existed, and I just thought it was cool because I read all the Nintendo Power propaganda.
Yeah,
it was one of the early titles.
I wish that there was like more designed version of those games that just like here is like the challenge, and it's not just like a bunch of random shit being thrown at you constantly. Because I don't know, I don't like that. But I like the way that they like. I think they play really good, and I think that they look really nice. But
yeah, I think
it's like you can't stop moving or you get like killed by 80,000 random dudes.
This
like,
one,
dropping on your head.
this one takes that to like the nth degree. There's sections where it's like you just have to keep running, and you don't figure that out at first, because there are sections where you have to be super deliberate with your movement too, right? Like you have to pick off every enemy because they're finite in some places, and your best bet is going to be like, get this thing out of my way, get this thing out of my way, get this thing out of my way, and then I'm okay to keep moving. But there are other sections where it's just like shit is just gonna keep coming, and the only way to like deal with that is just to run your ass off. And like you might miss like a secret chest or something by doing that, but you're gonna die if you try to, find whatever it is that's there. So just keep running. Don't stop. Don't stop for nothing. But yeah, I really it does a good job of merging sort of like aspects of the earlier games, and it's very interesting what they chose to keep and what they chose to get rid of from earlier games in the series. To the point of, like, the gold armor is still a thing, but you don't actually need it for magic. All it does is upgrade your weapons, like the Super Nintendo version had, you know, the upgraded weapons with the special armors. Like, that's all the gold armor does in this one, is it makes your weapons better, but it also makes them, like, in some cases, way, way better. To the point
It
where...
also makes you look really fly.
Yeah, I mean, oh, yes, right. I'm sorry. That's correct. It makes you look sick as hell. But the point where, like, if you can get the gold armor and keep it with, you know, certain weapons, you're kind of indestructible. Like, it's... You kind of wander into that Gradius area where it's like, you're so badass, but if you die, like, oh shit, now you have to do a whole bunch of stuff that you may not have been
I think that's one of the big
prepared
reasons why
to
I've
do.
never clicked with that series, is the whole rich get richer thing. Don't like that those games much, and don't like Gradius much.
Yeah, Gradius... I mean, it depends on the Gradius game. I just did a video, big 10th anniversary video on Life Force and Salamander in the arcade specifically, and those games are just... they're just fucking cruel. And the fact that they don't let you continue...
Really?
Yeah.
Seems like a weird choice from a money-making standpoint.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said, was like, wouldn't you, if you wanted people to keep, like, feeding quarters into this thing...
Especially since you start over at the beginning of the level when you die, right? And you're also super weak.
So in Salamander, you actually respawn right where you died, because it's 2 players. So
okay.
even in single player, you still respawn right where you died. They changed that in the PC Engine version, which is actually saying that it doesn't make sense that I'm about to say the PC Engine version is actually a lot more player friendly. But I think in order for them to feel justified in making the more player friendly changes to that version, they felt like they had to
balance the difficulty.
Yeah, they had to bump you back when you lost a life on single player. Otherwise, you would just blaze through it in like 10 minutes and then be pissed that you paid whatever 7,000 yen for it in 1991 money or whatever the hell it would have been. But yeah, it just, like, Stage 5 especially, it just throws so much shit directly at you, and it's just like, there's no way, if you're not powered up, there's no way around this stuff. Like, you're just going to die, because it throws so much at you that without a full loadout of weapons, you're just screwed.
So you're talking about Ghosts and Goblins now, or are you back to...
No, I'm talking about Salamander.
Okay.
Still.
So, like, if you die ever in that level, is your game just over?
Kind of. Well, again, you can kind of feed through it because you respawn right where you die in Salamander. Okay. So you can, like, if you have enough lives when you get there, but then the boss of that stage is also kind of a motherfucker and is really hard to beat without, like, a decent loadout. And the one thing that I will give them credit for is that your options drop and you can pick them back up if you're fast enough before they float off the screen. So if you have 4 options, you can kind of at least keep your 4 options.
It's good to have options.
Yeah, but still, that is not a friendly version of that game. It's very cruel, and someone on a forum that we frequent was talking. I started a conversation about that game in a thread about shoot 'em up specifically, and someone was like, yeah, it just feels really arbitrary. Like, Salamander has some weird hit detection stuff where, like, sometimes you can get really close to the wall and it's fine, and sometimes it feels like you're, like, 3 pixels away from the wall and you blow up anyways. And that kind of stuff really doesn't help either. Also, the Stage 4 boss has a really weird behavior where it will infinitely spawn projectiles in certain circumstances, which makes it just
too many projectiles, if
completely...
you ask me.
Yeah, and that feels super unfair. But I think, Ghouls and Ghosts, or Ghosts and Goblins, at the very least, like, once you have a weapon, in any of those games, right? Like, once you have a weapon when you respawn, you keep whatever weapon you have, right? If you went back to the lance every time you lost a life in those games, I think they would all be unplayable, quite frankly. But fortunately, they don't do that. And this one, one of the things that they did add to this one is there is an upgrade that allows you to carry up to 3 weapons at once and switch between them on the fly.
Like the 3 style.
Yeah, which is really, really convenient in some places, especially because there are times when so you get the magics in the new one are no longer tied to your weapon. So in Ghouls and Ghosts and Super Ghouls and Ghosts, your magic was based on what weapon you're holding, and that's no longer the case. There's special pickups you get that are basically skill points, and you use them to get certain spells and abilities. And the spells, then once you have a spell, you can use it whenever you feel like. And the doppelganger spell, which was tied to the dagger in Ghouls and Ghosts, and then was actually removed, I think because it was too overpowered from Super Ghouls and Ghosts. It's not even in there. Because it basically gives you a Ryu Hayabusa Shadow Ninja,
Man, Ryu's more badass than Arthur. He'd probably kick a lot of ass in that game.
I mean, he's limited to melee attack by and large, which would not serve him well, I don't think, because there are some things that are basically impossible to hit with melee attacks. So, I don't know. He's more mobile, though, that's for sure. Change directions mid-jump. But, you using that spell, the double spell, you can equip a weapon and then use the double spell and then switch the weapon back, and your doppelganger will still use the weapon you had when you cast the spell. So there are some combinations of weapons where towards the end of the game, like if you have the shield, which is sort of the, that's like in the original Ghosts and Goblins, it's the best weapon in the game because it will destroy enemy projectiles. If you have that and the dagger, you can have the distance and the speed of the dagger and the protection that is afforded to you by the shield at the same time, which on the second to last boss is really, really, really good to have. So it's interesting in the way that it, like I said, the things that it kind of chose to keep and the things that it kind of chose to get rid of from earlier games in the series are interesting choices in that game. But like I said, I'll probably be playing some of it in a couple of minutes here because I believe I'm coming up on the final boss of Alien vs. Predator.
Is it an alien?
It's an alien. You know what we've talked about this, you and I, Mike, have talked about this off air. Oh man, that would be if I got to play as a predator and fucking shank elf, that would be amazing.
But it turns out that underneath his armor, the predator's a cat. Then you're fucked.
Yeah, right. But now I can't remember what the hell I was.
We talked about something.
Saying, about some that it's weird that more Konami arcade, like I'm legitimately still every day that goes by that I don't hear that someone's working on a Ninja Turtles core for MiSTer, I continue to be surprised. Because there's also a Konami Aliens game that's not as good as this game for sure, but is actually still quite good. And
I guess in part, how many FPGA developers are out there that are good enough to do that kind of work, and are they busy with some other project now?
We know Furtek is doing some Konami related stuff. I guess we don't know for sure if what he's working on is going to end up being related to stuff like Turtles and Simpsons and X-Men. Who knows? I'm excited for that Lynx core, though. I downloaded all 15 megs of the Lynx library this week.
Unbelievable.
In anticipation.
For like 75 games, something like that?
The pack that I got was not including like beta versions of or unreleased games was 75 games licensed and 3 unlicensed games. Which I didn't realize there were unlicensed games for the Lynx, but there
How
you
did
go.
you defeat that lockout chip?
I don't know. They managed. So yeah, it was 75 officially licensed games for the Atari Lynx, which I actually would have, if you had asked me, I would have said a little more than that, because it was on the market for a few years. Like, I would have assumed they got to at least 100, but evidently not.
I don't know. That was a real boutique console, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew anyone who owned a Lynx back then.
Yeah, but speaking of Turtles, Mark Von Borstel just commented on it in the chat. But did you guys see the Turtles announcement today?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. It looks good, but I will be really happy if it's good.
I mean,
I've played enough really good looking like retro style games that were not fun that I'm gonna reserve judgment until it comes out.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It's from people who did the Scott Pilgrim game and people who did Streets of Rage 4. So I feel like they probably shouldn't miss on this, but we'll see, I suppose.
Like, I like Scott Pilgrim, but it's not a great beat 'em up.
No, I'm actually going to replay it soon because I got the physical Switch edition from Limited Run. I ordered last week. Or 2 weeks ago, or whenever that was, before it ended. So I'm interested to revisit Scott Pilgrim. But I like Streets of Rage 4 a lot. I had a ton of fun with that game. Well, as you know, it was one of my Game of the Year list makers. So I'm interested to see what they do. But if nothing else, the trailer has already given us Mike Patton singing the Ninja Turtles song.
Yeah, it's very bad.
I'm that's good enough for me.
Do you know there's emotes in this game, Mike?
Are there like little dances and things you can do?
Yeah. You have to type /emote.
Oh. I look forward to discovering them. I'm actually going to step away for a second. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, get out of here.
I don't know if you're still here, Kurt, but in that little house where the bees were, there's some stuff in a chest in there. I don't have room to carry some coins and things, so if you want to, you can grab those if you don't mind. If you got room for them.
No. Kurt, you're very, very quiet.
I think they're muted, maybe.
I am muted.
Okay. Yeah, there's some in that little house there. Because I got a queen bee.
Nice.
The item description says the queen of the bees.
As one does, I guess.
I wonder if we can make like a beehive or something.
Harvest their royal jelly.
There's some feathers which you can use to make arrows and some coins, which I don't know why there's coins.
So you can buy stuff.
Well, maybe there's a vendor. I don't know. I was trying to find deer, but I can't find any. Usually they're all over the place.
Enemies in this game drop so many weapons. I'm like trying to pick up specific ones, and I keep picking up these knives that I absolutely do not want to be picking up because they're kind of useless. And there are just so many of them on the floor that I can't help but do it. Curse you!
I can hear the deer barking like they.
I love that the bad guy in this game gets straight Bishop. Like, they don't even hide it. It's the exact same thing that happened to Bishop. Stabbed through the back with the tail and ripped in half.
Day 6.
Dawn of the 6th day.
How many hours remain?
All the hours.
Look out, Joe. There's an alien.
Right. Not just any alien, the queen. She followed us.
But didn't you already beat the queen?
I beat her, but apparently I did not kill her.
Whoa. Get out of here, Grey Dwarf.
So yeah, out of this game, I'm just about finished with it. Obviously, I'm fighting the queen. The big human bad guy just got ripped in half. But Capcom was really at the peak of their beat-em-up prowess at this point. This is like, we had Punisher, we had AVP, we had the two D&D games, and they were all like kind of in a row. And
I still haven't spent a lot of time with Punisher, but people say that game's really good.
you have it on your MiSTer, I'm sure.
Yeah. A lot of things on Mr. Joe.
Yeah, right. Again, I did not mean to pick Dutch, but I guess I'll take him.
I think I would probably want to play that ideally with like another person.
Yes, that's a good way to do it. Nick Fury and Frank Castle together, taking down the Kingpin. That's the way to do it.
Fuck that guy, he's the worst pin.
He is. I've always loved the way that, even though he sounds nothing like Arnold, the way that the Dutch in this game, whenever you pick up an item, goes, "I got it." It's always been one of my favorite
Go-to video game sound bites.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of go-to video game sound bites, Eric, did you see that? Did you see that Richard Aiken of the Stars Bravo team has his name on the fucking movie poster for the new movie that's coming out this year?
Wait, what?
Yeah. It's not a poisonous snake. It's a monster. His name is like, they put a bunch of Resident Evil character names on the poster, and his is one of them. And I'm so mystified. It's like Leon and Chris and Wesker and William Birkin, and then it's like Richard Aiken, and I'm like, why the fuck is Richard on the fucking poster? The sum total of his action is getting bitten by a giant snake and dying on the floor. That's what Richard does. I mean,
I'd watch that scene. No, I wouldn't.
And a lot of people have pointed out that it's weird that Barry's name isn't in this like little name collage, but Richard's is, which feels kind of extra weird.
Barry's gonna be a surprise, man. He's gonna be like the stinger after the credits.
Yeah, right.
Wait, what is this for again? I guess
There's a new Resident Evil movie, a reboot of the Resident Evil movies coming out in September?
Is Mila Jovovich somehow gonna still be in it?
I don't believe so. Rhinonar wants to know, why does he have one arm? I don't know. They never explain if that's actually if that's a prosthetic or just an augmentation, or what happened or why that is. They never explain it. I don't know. See you soon. Those predators are so polite. Okay, we're out of here. See you soon. Bye.
Have a good one.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh, I hear a deer.
Also, Capcom's art style in these days, when they were doing these super dense pixel arts, like I've talked about this before, like some people were like, oh, these games were like meant to be in widescreen. They weren't, but they have enough lines of resolution that if you use square pixels, they look like it, because they were squishing in so much detail into a 4:3 picture. The pixel density is off the fucking charts in these games, and that they look so good.
How good?
So good. So good. So that was AVP. I mean, honestly, I didn't have the sound turned way up, but it sounds, I mean, we know Jotego's kind of cracked the Q sound. That was, I think, why he did CPS dash first, was just to get his arms around Q sound, because there's a whole bunch of shit that goes with that. So the sound sounded great. I've played this game a bunch of times in the arcade and on emulators. I didn't notice anything weird about it. Like, this is looking good. Just for completion's sake, let's take a look at what what games are currently available in this beta. We've got AVP, Capcom Sports Club, Mega Man 2, The Power Fighters. Yeah, Mega Man, The Power Battle, which I didn't realize was also on CPS2. I thought it was just CPS1, but apparently both the Mega Man fighting games, if you want to call them that, whatever. The Mega Man Boss Rush games, which are fun for what they are. They're both here. Mighty Pang, which was Super Buster Bros or Buster Bros 3 or 4. Or I don't remember what the other title is for it. I guess
Is Capcom Sports Club a good game? I'd never heard of it before.
It's fine. It's a bunch of sports mini games basically. It's competent. It's fun enough. Puzz Loop 2, Street Fighter.
Is Puzz Loop just Zuma?
Maybe. Let's find out together, Mike. Let's find out together.
I mean, which I guess means with Zuma just Puzz Loop, but
yeah. And then Street Fighter Alpha, which the CPS Changer version of Street Fighter Alpha with the worst soundtrack is on the CPS1 core. But now the version with the better soundtrack is, which is basically the only difference is the quality of the soundtrack.
Yeah, I can't actually get excited over the differences in sound in versions of Street Fighter Alpha 1.
Yeah.
That game is alright, but it's just a warm-up before the main course.
Right. Which is Street Fighter Alpha 3, which is actually the best. Have you been talking about Street Fighter Alpha 2 this whole time when you've been talking about the best Street Fighter game, Mike?
Yes. I think Alpha 2 is my favorite.
Okay, I'm a big Alpha 3. Alpha 2 Gold is really good, but that's a console game, as I think we discussed and figured out. And
Alpha 3's got like a little bit too much stuff in it for my taste. Like having like 3 different super meters for every character, plus Yeah,
so I don't know,
I mean,
Mike.
if
this is Zuma, then yes, which I think it is.
Tell just yet.
It's
you
like
spin
a
around
spiral.
And spit stones.
Yeah, it's like bust a move in a spiral, basically.
Yeah, well, in Zuma the track changes shape on every level.
It probably changes shape here too eventually. I guess. I don't know.
Oh, this looks very, very Zuma-like, which means that this game probably came first.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to say the PopCap games were all kind of late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, yeah. Well, the copyright date on this one said 2001, but this is Puzz Loop 2, so I don't know when the original Puzz Loop came out. Were any of those games original, though? I feel like most of them were just rip-offs of something that already, like a different...
I'm not willing to say.
Yeah. I don't know.
Don't want to get in trouble.
But I'm gonna shift over to I'm gonna do like a half hour of Ghosts and Goblins. See how frustrated I get. I'm just starting the second loop, which changes a bunch of stuff about the stages and makes the game even harder. So let's see how that goes.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
I mean, usually they actually don't, right? Like in most of them, you just have to do it again, but the game isn't actually harder. You just have to do it again. This has like material changes to the way the game works.
I have made it to the third section of this castle in Invictus, and I'm not going to lie, it is super discouraging to think that I'm going to have to do this all again next time I play this game. Because after the third section of the castle is a boss that took Jeremy over 10 hours to beat.
Cool.
Which means that I may have to play through the entire castle and get to the boss on more than one occasion.
Oh, Rhinonar asked if we like the AVP movies. No, those movies are fucking terrible. Those movies are an affront to their source material.
I don't actually have any opinion on them, Rhinonar.
I don't think you would like them.
I saw that one, and it wasn't like I didn't hate it too much, but I don't remember enough about it, so.
Pretty bad. Pretty rough. Oh, that's going to look weird unless I change that up. Let's take a second and reconfigure the stream here. Please, you're not going to see the whole screen.
Beer, but my bow is broken.
Your bow broke? You gotta take care of your bow, bro.
I've been running around for a long time.
You gotta take care of your bro, Bo.
Oh boy. Big bro.
Bro.
Then I ran back into that troll again.
Where do you get leather scraps?
You have to kill boars.
Okay,
or
that's what I
you
thought.
could ask me because I have 20 of them. But I'm on my way back to the house right now. If you're there.
But the scraps are actually kind of hard to come by.
You get leather scraps from boars. You get hides from deer. You get bone fragments from skeletons.
I chased a deer into the water. I was trying to hit it with my
actually
axe,
swim
and
pretty well.
it ran into the water. I was like, well, I guess that's the end of that.
Yeah, you gotta build a bow, realistically, to kill the deer.
Yeah,
I
I
figured
snuck
that was
up
the
on
case,
one.
but it was right there, so I figured I'd give it a shot.
I did stealth kill like one deer. I was very proud.
You can.
But you really want the bow for that, yeah.
Oof.
Kurt, have you managed to anger the deer god yet?
No,
Well, you will.
I would presume I gotta kill some deer, which that hasn't happened yet.
I suppose that's a fair point.
We're up to 47
So-
coins.
One
I
of the
put
new.
some in one of those chests. The ones from that.
You gonna get a 1-up if you hit 100?
Yeah,
How many scraps do you need?
I don't know.
Okay.
Gotta look at the thing.
I need some to make a.
Eight. To make a crude bow, I need 8. I'm not saying you gotta give them to me. I'm just saying that's where I'm at.
Okay. No, you can have some of these.
Take from the community chest, Kurt.
Well, you know, I kind of also want to figure out how things work in 2-step. So
That's fine.
this is the problem in playing with other folks that we know, is that it's like, here's all the things. Be as excited about this as I am, and then I'm like, but I'm not learning how to do. I don't know how any of this works, and but do the thing. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, okay.
You know, kill 4 or 5 boars and then just take some leather scraps from Eric, because it's just that.
Yeah.
Some more.
I have killed a few boars.
Where should I put this?
They died a lot faster when I used my axe on them.
The punching is the most valorous way to kill a boar, but yes, the axe does work.
I punched all the other ones, so I have done it. Boars have died by my hand, literally. So
Joe's no longer able to talk.
It's not easy to play this game.
It's
and
all
talk.
game.
it ain't easy being green, that's for sure.
You just gotta train yourself up, man.
Yeah, so this game introduces a light and dark mechanic that
Like a world tendency.
no, just like when the candle's lit, it's light, and when the candle goes out, it's dark. And some enemies are shadow versions of enemies, so they can only be seen in the dark. But the regular ones cannot be seen in the dark. And
That's like
so-
Guacamelee.
Kinda. They can still kill you, even if you
Yeah.
can't see them.
Just like in Guacamelee.
Really, I thought in Guacamelee, if they weren't in the, if you couldn't see them, they couldn't hurt you.
You can see them, but you can't. Like, they're kind of like colored out because you're not in the right world. And I'm pretty sure they can hurt you. I don't know. I didn't play a lot of that game, but
So
I'm
it's
guessing
been
the
a
people who
really
made this
long
game did not
time.
play any of that game. But
I built 2 beehives, and then you can push E to check bees, and it says the bees are happy. So,
oh,
right? Gotta have some happy bees. Yeah, there's leather. I put 8 leather scraps in one of those things.
Yeah, I got it. I found them. I got a whole bunch of them, I believe.
Yeah, I put a shitload of them in these boxes too. I need to do more.
It's flint like
It's like a.
this one. Yeah, I have 12.
I got some. I need to build some places like this is for whatever stones, and this is for animal stuff. And this is
Yeah.
for whatever.
Right.
Fuck. Right there. There's the checkpoint. Motherfucker.
Eric, we'll do like a real Valheim night on like Friday or Saturday.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to take a break from this at some point.
Built a tanning rack.
Look,
finally.
Mike, you're not going to beat the 10-hour boss if you don't stick to it, okay?
I'm not gonna beat the 10-hour boss if I give myself an aneurysm.
Item.
Also, I'd like to get to the 10-hour boss. This last section of this castle is pretty hard, and not making a lot of headway here.
Check out my new shirt.
Is it made of tan hide?
Yeah, it's a troll hide shirt.
Oh,
Nice.
dang.
Our fire went out because...
It's 'cause of
Checkpoint.
rain.
because there's no roof right over our fire.
Well, so do you want to know
Yeah.
why there's no roof?
Well, because presumably the smoke's gotta go.
Yeah,
Nobody
if you
built a roof.
I didn't build a roof because if you build a roof right over the fire, then the smoke fills up the thing. And I was too lazy to make a real chimney.
Can you actually make a chimney, or do you have to just kind of leave a gap?
No clue. There's probably some way to make a chimney, but I'm not like skilled enough at these kinds of games to figure it out.
There's no like item in the building catalog that is called chimney.
Not as of right now, no.
I don't understand how to. Well, I guess we gotta wait for the rain and stuff. I can't sleep because there's no fire.
Oh, yeah, hang on. I'm working on it.
No, Kurt, you can't sleep. Clowns will eat you.
There's also that. What are you doing?
I'm trying to get on the roof, but I'm kind of like sliding off. There we go.
You need to be on. I'm in
So, Joe, are you enjoying the ghosts and ghouls and goblins of this game?
I am, but I'm a fucking weirdo, so... You know.
Is that
Your-
related to you liking this game?
Your mileage may vary. I mean, I think some people would definitely say so, yes. I think there are absolutely people who would argue that only a fucking weirdo would enjoy this particular type of game. Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I just can't see the interest in playing something so punishing where you just die all the time.
Uh-huh. Oops.
Why is that jester so mad at you?
You know, that's a question that I think people have been asking since the original version of this game. Why is the Magic Jester so mad at you? I'm guessing that he's not actually mad at Arthur, like, specifically.
You think he's just a kidder?
No, I think it's just one of those things where, like, you know, he's in the employ of the devil, and it's just, you know, it's just how it goes. It's just part of the job, you know?
Maybe because the fire is close enough to the door, maybe I don't get all smoky in here.
It's one of those moments Eric was talking about, where something just fucking appears on top of you, and it's just like, oh, I guess I'm just fucked.
You signed up for this.
There was no possible way I could have done anything about that, because it literally appeared directly on top of me.
You stand at the prow of a leaping ship, the salt spray before you, and the joyful shriek of gulls above.
What? Why did that happen? No, it's getting smoky in it.
It's a little.
It's a little bit smoky.
That was
Oh,
some
wow.
bullshit, game. That was some fucking bullshit.
If you cook meat too long, it turns into coal.
With the part where you can't see anything on the screen for like 5 seconds because of the bats.
Yes. That is exactly the part that I am referring to. Hey. So this is a weird UI decision from this game. When you're playing on, apparently, if you're playing on the second lowest difficulty, Squire or whatever, if you get past a Banner of Rebirth, that's the default choice when you lose a life, is to respawn at the Banner of Rebirth. But on what I'm playing on, which is considered apparently the default difficulty, which is Night, that's not the default option, which led me to initially believe that, like, I wasn't supposed to do that, like, that I would be punished somehow if I used the Banners of Rebirth, which are the red checkpoints, not the blue ones. But it turns out that no, it doesn't matter at all, actually. They just don't default it to you as the default choice for some reason. But they don't expose in the game in any meaningful way why they do that. It's very strange. Oh, fuck, that's where the armor came from. So there are, not only are there some enemies you can only see in the dark, some of them are red armors, and they usually come out when you, like, blow out a certain candle. Which, of course, you can only discover by trial and error, because there's nothing about the candles that they pop out of that indicate whether or not this is going to be a candle that hones a red armor. So, but of course, then once you do figure it out, then it's like, oh, just whatever you do, don't blow that candle out. Because that's where we find the red armor. You know, we'd rather just avoid him if we can. Although I also would just like to see him get another game of his own, quite honestly. Those games are good. And much less frustrating than this.
Oh, like the Super Ultimate Ultra Boss in the Super Nintendo one is really ridiculously hard, isn't it?
The red armor? Or are you
In
just
the
talking about,
was
like,
it Demon's Crest, the Super Nintendo game? Doesn't it have like
yes,
a super hard Ultra Boss at the end?
It's kind of. It's not actually at the. Well, it is at the end, but it's like you have to beat the game and get the best normal ending, and then you get a special password that you have to enter, and then you sort of go back to your save file, not your save file, 'cause it's a password game, but you go back to your game, and then there's a secret boss that only appears once you've put in that password, and that boss is the son of a bitch. But the actual, like, phalanx is actually not that. I don't think he's that difficult. But the dark demon, the secret boss, he's a son of a bitch, yes.
Need a few more deer here.
Mark Von Borstel says, dude, Demon's Crest is so good. It's such an underrated game. I feel like it's kind of come around. Like, I feel like it's not...
It's not so underrated?
Yeah.
It's now rated.
It's now rated.
You're not saying it's come around to being a bad game.
Currently rated. No, yeah, I'm saying that people are now... Because it's available now, right? It was on the Wii U Virtual Console, and it was on...
Yeah,
it's on,
for a certain definition of available, I guess.
Well, it's on Switch Online now, isn't it, even?
Is it?
I think so. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about
I
that.
don't know how to switch it online. I don't know.
The definition where it is available. That definition.
I mean, if it's only available on the Wii U eShop, then I don't consider that extremely available.
Yes, that is accurate. I think it was
He
actually
didn't
also...
say it was extremely available, just said available.
I think it was also... Wasn't it also on the 3DS Virtual Console?
Maybe if you had a new 3DS, but you can't do Super Nintendo emulation on the standard 3DS.
Right. Oh, for fuck's sake. But yeah, I'm honestly like almost surprised that they didn't do a new Red Armor game first, simply because those games have a less of a reputation,
More
of being,
modern,
like extremely cruel. Fuck you, Jesus.
Ooh, that's a good deer.
Is it different than the other deer?
That's a 1-star deer.
Renanar
What
says
does that
they
mean?
should have added Super GnG as an unlockable. I mean, I know for sure Super Ghouls and Ghosts is on the Wii Switch Online, so... And this game is a Switch exclusive, at least for now, so that just doesn't seem like there's much of a point to adding, earlier games, that particular earlier game in the series. And then the other two, the first two are on the Capcom Arcade Stadium, so... They don't want to dip into their own pocket, that deal. Oh my god.
Hey, Joe.
Yes, Mike.
Feed me.
Oh, damn, and something just... Oh. God. There we go.
Those bats are so intense.
Yeah, they're really annoying. Oh no, shit. Okay. That's a thing that is like slightly maddening about this game, I will say, in terms of how they dealt with some of this stuff. There are now points in some of the chests, it was never, in the earlier games, you would never just get a points item. It would always be something. And it's really, really, really frustrating that they're just like, oh yeah, like here's just like a random bonus point item. Like, I do not give a fuck about random bonus points. Don't put that.
I thought the little Arthur statues were just point items.
They are. That's what they put in the chests now in some cases.
But isn't that in the older games also?
Yes, but they're never in chests. They're in clay pots that you knock off enemies' backs, but never in
okay.
chests.
I don't know, man. Those games have conditioned me to expect nothing good whenever I get a chest. So.
Well, there can always be a wizard in there, but there's still wizards in them.
And there always is.
A wizard.
Also, I love that the way they retooled the music, staying true to a lot of the original pieces. You know, with not modern instrumentation, but
PlayStation 1 era instrumentation? I can't actually hear the music.
well, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like Red Book instrumentation. Like, there's like, it sounds kind of like a harpsichord a little bit right now. So I guess like period appropriate for when the Knight Arthur would have been facing off against the evil hordes of the Ghoul Realm, I suppose. I guess.
They have a lot of Red Book audio in the Middle Ages.
They had instruments. I'm fairly certain.
Blood red.
You're the musician, Mike, so you tell me. But I think they had instruments then, right?
I don't think they had harpsichords though.
I mean, harpsichords predate pianos, don't they?
Probably, but I think they're still more recent than that.
Well, I guess they never really give like a solid time frame.
I thought a harpsichord was like a Baroque instrument.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Look, man, I don't know what the
Seems
there's never
pretty
a date
expensive
given.
to me. Somebody left the chat. I did it. I'm proud of you. Oh, Anthony showed up
no,
just in time.
Anthony's here.
Opposite happened. Anthony.
Hello.
Anthony, what my feelings on Baroque music are?
Harpsichord was most likely invented in the late Middle Ages,
Oh, okay.
according to Wikipedia. The diagram from 1430.
When does this game take place?
I don't know. That's what I was saying. I don't know. There's never a date given.
It depends on whether you
When were boxer shorts invented, Kurt?
ascribe to the parallel timeline theory or not.
Right, yeah, it depends on if you're a split timeliner or a single timeliner.
So this is before or after you beat Ganon?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
I guess before, because there's all these giant pigs around.
Oh shit.
Careful.
No time to read Wikipedia while this grayling is attacking me.
Oh.
I heard Australia is attacking me.
That's true.
Mark
It's like,
Von
oh,
Borstel
cool,
says, I
Australia.
just
There are a bunch of
beat
criminals.
Super
so-
GnG
Persona
on my
non grata there.
SNES for the first
Down there.
time not long
I haven't
ago.
played that one, just 4 and 5.
Ba-dum-bum.
And when I say beat, I say I don't include the second run. Well, if you didn't beat the second run, you didn't beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I'm sorry.
I keep thinking about buying the new edition of Persona 5 and giving that a shot, but then I have to be at my
Me too. Maybe I'll get more than 2 hours in.
1925.
That's
The
when
boxer
they
shorts?
strawberry printed boxer shorts
Yeah,
first appeared
yeah.
in.
Well,
Well,
1926.
one,
was strawberries.
presumably strawberry printed boxer shorts were not far behind the original invention.
I think the original boxer shorts were strawberry printed.
Yes.
The original boxer shorts were actually made out of strawberries, is really what happened.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buy a boxer dog. That's why they're called.
Yeah, right. Wearing a bowler hat.
It was actually, so the shorts part, it's not because they're short.
It's just because they have very short legs.
No, it's because it's short cake, strawberry short cake, that the boxers
yes.
love to eat.
Yeah, yeah.
They,
Dogs.
They would
not
eat.
the-
They would
not
eat the
after.
Yeah,
toy.
the dog, that's why they made the pants for
Well, no, but the dogs are named boxers because professional boxers also love to eat shortcake, so that's where the dogs get their name from.
Is that what the kids are calling it?
Yes.
Okay.
What else would they call it?
There are any number of choices.
Little 2 gray dwarf is kicking my ass.
Oh, fuck off.
Grey Dwarf.
Fuck off, Grey Dwarf.
Yes.
Show him the eyes from all the other dwarfs you've beaten. I'd run if I was him.
Rhinonar wants to know if we like the Tick game on the Super NES. I feel like I don't. I really liked the cartoon as a kid, and I feel like the game was not great.
Not ideal.
Yeah.
Does it have Spoon in it?
It does. At the end of every level,
Does it?
There is an actual
Every
voice. Yeah, there's actually a voice sample.
I actually remembered that. Yeah. Good times.
I mean, that's basically the only thing that I remember at all about the Tick, so it does feel like the one thing they should have kept.
I mean,
There's a great thing in the original Tick comic where
Oh my god.
maybe it's a Jason
Fuck
thing,
you, game.
but it's Ben Edlund is like, how to draw the Tick. He's like, draw an oval, bisect it, draw a line up, 2/3 of the way up. Now draw the Tick holding this thing.
Take that, Kirby.
What the hell is that? Some white bird or something just flew in and flew away? I've never seen that
You can
before.
shoot those with a bow and arrow to get feathers.
I could if I realized what the hell was happening.
Yeah, they're pretty.
They're
I mean,
fairly common, aren't they?
well, they're all. Yeah, they.
I had
they're
never
not as
seen it
common
before.
in this area as they were in the starting area.
Oh, hey, speaking of resurrections of classic Capcom franchises, kind of, sort of, did you all hear that friend of the... This is such bullshit. That fucking raft moves in totally random ways so that you are guaranteed to jump in the fucking water 50% of the time. That is horseshit. Anyways, friend of the show / friend of mine, Adrian Sandoval is currently working with some other people on a Kickstarter. I'll say follow-up to Little Nemo, because Little Nemo is in the
really
public
good.
domain, and so they can just do that. They can just make a Little Nemo game because.
Because things should go to the public domain sometimes.
Well, things actually do.
It's
Some
not the
things
game. It's
actually do.
the Little Nemo character.
Right. Yes. Windsor McKay's Little Nemo is in the public domain.
That game looks good.
It does. It looks. I backed the Kickstarter.
The animation's very pretty.
Yeah.
That game is. It's pretty fun to play, but the level design kind of sucks.
This is not a remake, though. This is just like it's a 2D side scroller that's also Little Nemo, but it is not a remake.
Throw
of...
candy at animals to.
It
Technically
doesn't
speaking, it'll be the
seem
third
like it.
Little Nemo game, right?
Yeah, because there was an arcade. There was the Capcom arcade game
On
and the
CPS1.
Capcom
You
home
could
game.
fire it up right now if you wanted to.
I could.
Oh, you're not in the MiSTer anymore.
Oops.
My God, let me get to that fucking flag. Thank God.
Are you guys streaming this Viking game?
No, we're streaming.
Not yet.
We're streaming.
I mean, that'll probably happen at some point.
Resurrection.
I want to see it.
Looks like an
It's-
up-res PlayStation 1 game.
But yeah,
It's got a really
had-
weird look, but it's
Little
also
Nemo, you're
beautiful
talking
at
about,
times.
I watched a few like quick videos just to see what it looks like, and
Yeah,
It's like, what if the
Sold.
textures were all from the PS... I would say early PS2, maybe more than PS1. But, like, it can do crazy volumetric stuff, like have procedural thunderstorms with huge-ass waves, and, like, beautiful, like, misty fog in the morning with the sunlight filtering through
Are we talking about Little Nemo or the Viking game?
the
Yeah.
Viking game.
Okay. Let's
So,
say.
yeah, does not answer the question very well.
That was on purpose.
Right. Yeah, the Little Nemo game looks
depends on what you name your Viking.
right. Yeah, I don't
There you
know.
go.
Anthony, did you back it or did you just?
No,
look at
not
it?
yet, but I'm gonna.
I have backed it.
Yeah, same. It's only $15 I think to get a copy of the game.
Something like that.
Although maybe that was like an early bird thing. I think it's 20 if you didn't get in early enough, but whatever. That's not. I mean, I'm into it, and yeah, like I said, This whole Dr. Seuss nonsense, which I'm not going to go into on the stream, but has really fired up the part of my brain that gets upset about dumb copyright shit in the public domain. So,
Look at
because
those books are only like 80 years old.
that's
He's
right.
only been dead for like a decade or two. So
Three, but you know.
why should they be public domain, Joe?
Because they're 80 years old and he's been dead for 30 years. That's why.
Joe, you're just encouraging people to go around murdering authors so that they can claim the rights on their books 30 years later.
That's yeah, it's a slippery slope, Mike. You're right. What's the deal with the public domain in
Slippery
Canada?
blood.
How does that work? How
It's
does that
not
work
much.
there?
It's not much better, I don't think. I mean, I don't know the details of it, but I'm pretty sure it's almost as long as yours, if not exactly the same.
Yeah, every time Disney makes the U.S. government lengthen it, Canada just lengthens it too.
I haven't looked into it, but probably.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to work if we can just have the stuff free, right?
Yeah, I guess. Oh man, I totally forgot. Actually, I wore my Ghosts and Goblins shirt tonight for the stream, and I forgot to show it, so now I'm showing it on the stream. I wore.
Someone named
Or my Arthur
Alexar, which is
and-
a dumb username as far as I'm concerned. So it sounds like someone's trying to get canceled, Joe.
Yeah.
Cancer.
Ryan Onar says Disney Plus got
Cancel
rid of
Joe.
4 Disney movies. What do you think? I mean, I don't
Disney movies.
I don't know what for. I mean, I know that the only one I thought I was aware of was Song of the South, which is, I mean, there's an argument that that it should be up there as a historical document, but Disney is also like fucking ashamed of it. So they are not going to do that.
If you want to watch that movie, you can probably find it.
You could
somewhere.
probably find it somewhere.
They've put some of the racist cartoons up and just put things in front saying.
Was that Disney or?
The Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
I was saying, I know the Warner Brothers one. There's a lot of
maybe
the
it's the
Warner
Warner
Brothers
Brothers stuff.
cartoons
Yeah, maybe
are available.
Because like the Muppets have some.
Well, the Muppets, the only 2 Muppet things, there's 2 episodes that are not up, and one of them is because the host is a pedo.
Really?
Yes. And the other one is because of a copyright thing that they couldn't clear some of the songs.
Yeah, but I
or
mean,
whatever.
there are those style of disclaimers before.
Oh
some
yeah,
of the
before
Muppets.
some of them, yep. Which is totally
I
fine.
say, man, Kermit works blue. You don't like it? You know?
Fine. Yeah, people just need to fucking relax with all this stuff.
Yeah, I
You know
don't.
what? If the Muppets aren't on anymore, if that happened at some point, you know what? There's other good stuff to watch. It's fine.
I mean, I think there's something to be said for the cultural impact of the Muppets, but also like the idea that a like 5-second splash screen that says like this was made in a different time and some of this shit might be offensive, that would bother somebody that much that they get super upset. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't like.
Hey, Kurt.
Anyways, I thought
Bees are sleeping.
I wasn't going to talk about this. I was just trying to make the point
But are they happy?
that
I know they're just sleeping.
Little Nemo. It's in the public domain, and that's good. And the game looks good, and people should check it out because
And more things should be in the public domain.
And more things should be in the public domain. Although people still get shitty about that. Somebody tried to copyright claim my Three Stooges episode of Same Name Different Game, in which I very specifically only used clips from the 3 public domain episodes or 3 public domain shorts of the Three Stooges, and someone still tried to claim it, and I had to like fill out this whole thing and send it to YouTube and be like, yo, all 3 of the shorts that have clips in this episode, in this video, are in the public domain.
I've been consolidating stuff in these chests.
So,
Okay.
But anyway,
Now, was someone like the rights owners for the Three Stooges,
No,
or was it just
no.
some total random
just
schmo?
some total random schmo. We got copyright claimed once on the live stream channel from somebody who was trying to claim that they owned like a cutscene from Resident Evil 2, but it wasn't Capcom. It was just like someone who made a commercial for a video card that used. And they were, because like when you run a YouTube channel, there's like a thing where you can say like someone used one of my copyrighted videos in their video, and you can do a copyright claim. So it was like someone who made a commercial for some video card that showed off footage from Resident Evil 2, and they were going around claiming shit. And then I remember seeing other YouTubers on Twitter who were saying like, yeah, that happened to me too, and like a bunch of people had to explain
It's
to
almost like the
YouTube.
whole system is super broken.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, here's a funny one. This is my last thing about that before I'm going to end the stream in a second. But I did a stream last week on the 10th anniversary of when I posted the first episode of Same Name, Different Game. And I watched the whole first year of episodes. And WWE copyright claimed me watching the second episode of Same Name, Different Game because I used a clip of Bam Bam Bigelow in it for like 5 seconds. But they have not claimed the original episode. So figure that out. Like Mike said, it's almost like the system is fucking broken. But anyways, I didn't want to end on a down note. Support Jotego on Patreon if you're a person who owns a MiSTer, because damn, you should be doing that. Consider checking out the Little Nemo thing on Kickstarter and supporting that if you're into old school 2D platformers, and if you hate yourself like I do, consider checking out Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. And we'll be back next week with, it sounds like probably Valheim next week, and we'll talk to you then. Good night, everybody.
My sleepy bees.
Good night, bees.
Oh, not the bees. Oh no, not the bees.
Bees in my eyes.